A few weeks ago, I was watching some YouTube videos on how to do tie-dye shirts and reverse tie-dye because I was going to do a tie-dye project with my daughter. Well, I got to thinking, I was thinking about how I could use this tie-dye process and reverse tie-dye process to make a camouflage shirt. One camouflage that came to mind was tiger stripe. It's a very classic one, it's been around a while. And so I wanted to give a chance to try to make a camouflage shirt using the tie-dye process. So in this video, I'm going to show you what I did, how I did it, and what I learned. So hopefully stay tuned. One of the first things you're going to need is a 100% cotton shirt. 100% cotton works better because then the bleach will affect it more. If you have more synthetic fibers, the less likely bleach will do very well with it. With any shirt, the first thing you want to do is wash it and clean it to make sure that it gets rid of any coatings or residue or dirt that may be on it. Obviously, one product we'll need is some bleach. We also want some hydrogen peroxide. This denatures the bleach, so it'll stop the bleach from activating. You'll really want this after you're done bleaching. There's other things you may need, such as rubber gloves, and if you want any rubber bands or any other dye if you want to use that later. So for prepping the shirt, after I've washed it and I've dried it, I am not going to get it wet. Shirts that are wet, and they'll sell it, like get them damp, the colors give a wider gradient. I wanted to have some sharper lines, so in that case, I made sure that my shirt was completely dry. The next thing I did is I started folding my shirt like an accordion, probably about 1 inch thick. And so I just kept working from the bottom up to the top, making small little lines as I go. Along the way, once I get to the top, I start rubber banding it. That'll help hold it in place. The reason that I'm doing these vertical lines with the banding is because when I want to do the tiger stripe, I want to make sure that that's the direction the lines are going to be going. If I wanted the lines to go up and down, I would then do the accordion going from the collar to the bottom of the shirt. Again, this gives you quite a bit of control if you want to change your pattern. Now we're going on to the bleaching. I highly recommend that you wear gloves, and if you need to, wear eye protection or a mask if the Clorox smell bothers you. You also want to make sure that you're working in a safe area that has lots of air, and also you may want to wear some clothes that you're not going to be worried about getting bleach on. The first thing we're going to do is make the hydrogen peroxide bath. I've filled up one side of my sink with some water, and then I also poured in a good amount of hydrogen peroxide, probably about half the bottle for the amount of water I was using. This is important because then when we're done bleaching, we're going to put it right into this. If you start handling the bleach first, you can have bleach on your hands, get bleach in more places, and it's more of a mess. The hydrogen peroxide is neutral, so it's easier to start with that. Now, in order to help to control the bleach more, I poured the bleach into a smaller container, so it makes it a little bit easier to use. Now I've taken the shirt and I just kind of spiral it up, and then I'm going to put bleach all around the outside. You can see I also use a foam brush to give me a little bit more control and to push the bleach into those gaps. You can see as the bleach starts working, the first color change it starts doing is some orange color. Again, this is showing where the pigment is going to be changing. Bleach is also very corrosive to fibers, so you don't want to leave the bleach on too long. I left the bleach on for probably about 15-20 minutes, and then afterward I put it in the hydrogen peroxide bath. I'm going to let it sit there normally another 15 to 20 minutes. I'm actually going to let it sit there a little longer just because I really want to make sure that I've deactivated the bleach. Now that the shirt has been sitting in the hydrogen peroxide for about half an hour, I pull it out and then I'm going to rinse it with cold water. I want to rinse any of the hydrogen peroxide off. I also want to rinse any bleach remnants that might be there. Now I'm going to color the shirt. First thing is I got a tub out to make sure that the color didn't splash everywhere. The next thing, you want to put another pair of gloves on because your hands don't want to turn all different colors. I also got some hot water, and what I'll do is I pour that in a small container, and then I'll pour the RIT dye into it. That'll help dilute it. It also helps activate the colors. I then would take a foam brush and paint over the spots on the bleached shirt, or I can just pour it on. All the spots on the shirt that were bleached, I then put it on. I did interchanging colors between each one of the rubber banded segments, from green to brown, and so on. This will give more of a striped pattern. The next part of the dyeing process was more of an experiment. I saw online that the RIT dye company recommended that you put the dyed cloth in the microwave in order to help kind of heat seal the colors in. Once it was done in the microwave and had cooled off, I rinsed it under water to get rid of any excess color dye that was on it. At that point, I just removed the rubber bands. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how the shirt turned out. If I had to do it again, I think I would put more bleach on it to give me more spots where I could do some dye coloring. I think I would probably also, instead of brushing on the bleach, I'd probably submerge it. I think that I would also not only do some RIT dye, but I may also use some airbrushing or some other lighter pigments into it. Overall though, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out and really how inexpensive it was. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit like or subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please just post them below. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you get a chance to get up to the paintball field soon. And remember, when in doubt, just keep shooting.